Hi. Happy New Year. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, welcome to our Saturday stream. It is a new year. It is a new month. It is all of the new things. And so, because the way we do things around here today will be a just chatting stream. I fixed YouTube. Without context, you guys are just like, what? No, I fixed YouTube because YouTube has always been traditionally much laggier than Twitch. YouTube's stream is actually ahead of Twitch's stream right now. Like it's not like super usually it's like 5 to 10 seconds behind the Twitch stream, which makes it very out of sync for content and for context. And right now they are almost identical, and YouTube is actually slightly ahead. There's a latency setting that I thought I had changed a long time ago. I had it set for normal latency. Normal latency apparently is absolutely trash, garbage. I set it for low latency and now it's fine. So yeah, that's all fixed up. The only bad thing about the low latency thing for YouTube is that it disables 4K and 1080. You can't stream in 4K and 1080. But I don't ever really stream in 4K anyway. So that's probably where my problem was. The latency setting was allowing me to stream at a faster bit rate than my connection could handle. But it seems to be fantastic now. Yeah, exactly, Deether. So yeah, Diamond, that's what was wrong with it. Diamond Anvil's watching. Diamond Anvil does us a favor and watches on both Twitch and YouTube, because we gotta have participants on both streams, right? So yeah, it's absolutely fixed. So, a couple of things. Void Striker 1-1. Thanks for the subscription over on YouTube yesterday. You're probably not watching right now, but thanks for the subscription. It is greatly appreciated. And then Darth E. Curb, absolute legend. 76 months of being subscribed here on Twitch. Darth, cheers. Happy New Year. Thank you for the support over all this time. I do greatly appreciate it. Here's to you, my friend. So how's everybody doing? How was your New Year's? We talked about Christmas last week. How was your New Year's? Anybody stay up and watch the ball drop and ring in the new year? Mrs. RB and I stayed up. Mrs. RB and I stayed up and watched the ball drop. We also watched some movies. What did we watch? We watched crap, what did we watch? Evidently the movie wasn't the highlight. We did not watch Stranger Things on New Year's Eve. We watched that yesterday. Yesterday? Yes, we watched Stranger Things yesterday. What did we watch New Year's Eve? We watched a movie. Must not have been very important. Oh, I know what I watched. Dazed and Confused. I watch Dazed and Confused once a year. It is a classic. It's a cult classic. I watch Dazed and Confused at least once. Once every year. Usually towards the end of my vacation, and my vacation is officially over. I mean, it's the weekend, so I'm not going to work until Monday, but my vacation is officially over. And so it was time, before the end of the year, it was time to watch Dazed and Confused. But again, thank you to all of the folks with new subscriptions and renewals of their support for the channel. It is greatly appreciated. If this is your first time here, then, by all means, hang out for a little while, see if you like what we do. This isn't a stream that is going to be indicative of what we do all the time, because this is the first stream of the month. This stream is a just chatting stream. We might get into something gamey later. I don't know. But yeah, this is a just chatting stream. So If you want to see game content, we'll be back at that next weekend. So 2026, your first this year. Yeah. That's right. So 2026 is upon us. I've been thinking a little bit about what I want to do going forward with both of my channels. So for those of you who may or may not be new around here, I have two channels. I have this channel, rbPlays. That's where we do gaming content, predominantly Minecraft. Every once in a while, we will jump into some other. Man, I've got a little frog in my throat or something this morning. Jump into some other game, but mostly Minecraft. So we've been playing on a vanilla server that is our supporter server. We've also been playing some all the mods 10 to the skies. 3 more months until I write the date correctly. Yeah. I have not had to write the date on anything yet. Monday will be my first test, probably. I take that back. I had to create a new folder. Man. Sorry, y'all. I had to create a new folder for 2026 business expenses. And I was able to remember that this folder needed to be named 2026 business expenses. So I succeeded on my first yearly trial, perhaps, maybe. Anyway. And yes, I have actually had 2026 business expenses already. So business, what are we counting as business around here? So all of the rbPlays stuff is a business. I don't make a lot of money on it. I make some YouTube money like once every year and a half. I'll get a payout from YouTube. Sometimes it's even longer than that. And then of course Twitch subscribers. There's income and revenue from that. But then expenses. So if I buy a new GPU or if I buy a new light or whatever, I can keep track of all that stuff. And if it makes sense to deduct it as an expense, then I do that. So far, it hasn't really made a whole lot of sense. Probably the last time that I did anything of substance that would have allowed for me to take any kind of deductions was the year that I built the PC and all that good stuff. So we don't have a lot of revenue and expenses in relation to the rbPlays. No, so now could be the time because more expensive equals bigger deduction. But no, it is not the time. Now is not the time. I'm pretty well set for right now. We've got a 30 series NVIDIA GPU. Yeah, that's several decades behind. It's not that far behind. But a 30 series GPU. I do have a Ryzen 5 processor. So a new motherboard and a new processor would be nice, but I don't need it. Like everything's working fine. It's not a big deal. Now on the woodworking side of things though, that business has a lot more turnaround. You know, there's people that order cutting boards, and I have an order right now for some wooden frames for painting canvases. So just the frame to stretch the canvas around. The people already have the canvases and they just need frames to stretch them around. So I'm in the process of making 7 painting canvas frames. I got 2 of them done yesterday. I need to do the rest of them today. I had to go out and buy all the stuff yesterday. So therefore 2026 business expenses for Richard Brooks Woodworking. So, yeah. But yeah, New Year's was good. We don't drink, so there was. Well, I take that back. One person in the house likes Mike's Hard Lemonades, so I bought some Mike's Hard Lemonades. But Mrs. RB and I don't really. Well, I don't drink because of the diabetes, and Mrs. RB will have a glass of wine every once in a while, but that's about it, right? That's about it. Diamond Anvil wants me to hydrate. So here's the problem with hydration today. I forgot my water bottle. It's upstairs. So I'll cheers. It's got water in it. Amongst other things. It is the first ingredient. Water is the first ingredient on here. So that's a plus. Not a big plus, but it's a plus. And incoming anger from chat about not having my water bottle in 3, 2, 1. Let me have it. Yeah. So not big drinkers. So we usually will get some of that sparkling cider stuff, like the Welch's or the there's another really good one. I can't remember. It starts with an M. But it's really good, and that's the one we got this year. So we toasted a glass to the new year, and it'd be very scary. It's kind of scary that water is the first ingredient, and it's still not that great for you. I hesitate to say that it's bad for me, even though I know that it is. But yeah, we toasted to the new year. I kissed my beautiful bride, and then we went to bed. So on Thursday, on New Year's Eve day, the youngest offspring convinced me to take him to Stone Mountain. So Stone Mountain, if you're not familiar with the Atlanta area, we have some mountainous terrain down this way. Down where I'm at, not so much. It's still kind of hilly where I live, but it's not mountains. And it really doesn't get back into quote unquote Appalachian Mountains or Appalachian Mountains until you get north of Atlanta. But there is a place just outside of Atlanta called Stone Mountain. And it's what is the elevation of Stone Mountain? Hold on. We're going to find out. Elevation of Stone Mountain. 1,686 feet. 1,686 feet is the elevation of Stone Mountain. And they've got hiking trails up there. And my youngest and my second youngest decided that, well, my youngest wanted to go up there because he wanted to go up there and meet with somebody. And and so I was like, okay, well, that's cool. We can do that. And because it was kind of a date, he doesn't drive yet. So because it was kind of a date, we didn't want to infringe on his getting to know you time. So me and the middle kid, Beholden, we went up there and we went on our own hike, and we hiked almost to the top of Stone Mountain. I couldn't make it to the top, and it wasn't because of physicalities. It was menticalities. I am deathly afraid of heights. I've been hiking on mountain trails. No, I had water. I had plenty of water. I have been on many hiking trails in mountains before, and hiking trails on mountains don't bother me. The thing that bothered me this time was there's nothing around you. Like normally when I go on hikes, like we've hiked the Appalachian Trail before, little pieces of it. And normally those trails cut through the woods. The Appalachian Mountains are heavily wooded, right? So I never can see. This is going to sound really weird, but I can never see that far away from me for the, we'll call it vertigo, but it's not really vertigo, for the vertigo to kick in. Up here on Stone Mountain, if you've ever been to Stone Mountain, if you do the walking trail, which is mostly just open stone, they got a path painted on the ground for you to follow, but it's mostly just open stone, especially up towards the top. You can see for miles and miles and miles, and it falls off pretty quick. Going up to near the plateau, I was probably, so if it's 1,686 feet, I was probably somewhere around 1,500 feet in elevation. We got to basically the final plateau before you ascended to the quote unquote peak. And I started to catch peripherals of nothing. Like there was nothing there. Weird thing, I can fly in an airplane. Doesn't bother me because I'm in something. I'm not going to fall out of the airplane. But boy, oh boy, I got to around that 1,550 feet mark, and I was like, nope, I can't go any higher. I'm done. I am going to. I looked at Behold, and I said, I know you probably want to get up there to the peak and so that you can say you've done it. He's like, yeah, I kind of do. I said, well, you go on ahead. I'm going to sit right here. There was a nice little outcropping of boulders there that made perfect benches. And you know, a lot of people, because of the elevation change, especially at that point, normally the grade there is somewhere around 2 degrees. Will I fall off the mountain or the planet? My mind thinks I will. It makes no sense. Fears are irrational. Fears are irrational. But I sat there and, you know, drank some water and waited for him to get up to the summit and come back. And, you know, it took him about, to go that last, we'll call it 200 feet in elevation change. Actually, it's probably more than that. I probably only made it to 1,400 or so, the more I think about it. But yeah, for him to go that last couple hundred feet in elevation and get up to the actual peak and then get back to me, it was probably half hour, 40 minutes. But you know, I just kind of sat there and I texted with a couple of people, and that was it. And then I was like, hey, I'm going to need your help getting down. So to get down, I had to look straight at the ground so that there was nothing in my peripheral vision except for surface. Like this is insight into the mind of rbPlays right here. I had to look straight down and see nothing but stone all around me to be able to move down the hill, to be able to move down the hill of the mountain. But back to the point, normally the grade was, 2 degrees. It was not a great incline. It was a workout. Like I felt really good after we did it as far as the physicality of it. But there was a section in there where you're climbing a stone face, right? You're climbing a stone walkway. There's no steps or dirt or, there's nothing there. It's just heavily trodden stone. And so in one of those places, the incline gets so steep, and I want to say it was probably somewhere around 20. Fellow hikers were wondering why you're holding rocks on either side of your glasses. Yeah. People were looking at me a little funny. But it was probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 degrees. Like it was smooth stone, right? And to that end, there's a place where they've got double handrails. I was hugging that handrail coming back down. Like I was locked onto that handrail for dear life. But we made it back down to a spot where it became a lot easier for me. And then we finally got back down to the bottom, and we had agreed on 2-ish hours to meet back at the parking lot with the youngest. And just say you saw it on TikTok. yeah, I saw this on TikTok. They said give it a try. Yeah. We had agreed on 2-ish hours, and it was about 2 hours and 30 minutes. And so then I started texting the youngest and saying, hey, it's time to come back. Where you at? And he ended up getting back down there at about, he probably got back down there about 20 to 40 minutes after me and Beholden did. But we had a good time. Then I took the boys out for a late lunch, and then we came back home, and that was my New Year's Eve with my youngest 2 sons. It was a good time. So what'd you guys do? Anything good, or just lay around the house? Because that's kind of what I would have rather done, is lay around the house. But it was a good time. Like even being up there as high as I was and being as uncomfortable as I was, I knew it meant a lot to the boys. The youngest for multiple reasons. He got to get out with Dad for a while, and he got to meet a new girl. So, but yes, it was delightful, Diamond. It was delightful. Had a good time. And then Mrs. RB and I watched movies the rest of the night. We made, so it was Thursday. Thursdays are typically our quote unquote Asian night. So I do a General Tso's chicken. Mrs. RB does wontons and other stuff like stir fries and stuff like that. And Dylan's Woodshop over on YouTube. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you, buddy. Hopefully you are well. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, I'm getting warm. I was wondering if it was going to happen. We're at that temperature here in Georgia where you just never know what to wear. What is the temperature outside right now down here? It is 52 outside right now. High today, 56. Let me switch, be right back. You don't have to switch. Oh. So what woodworking projects do I have lined up after the frames? I forgot to bring the magazine down. Hey, BC Nineveh's back. Welcome, BC. What woodworking projects do I have lined up for after the canvas frames? So my oldest, I used my laser engraver they're big into anime, and I don't remember the name of the character that they want, but I wood burned a portrait for them, and so it's just on a piece of like 3mm ply. But it's nice. It's really cool because it's kind of wood burn, like silhouetted onto the board. But they need a frame for that, and that's going to be a small one. It's only going to be about 4x4, just a little thing. So I've got to make a frame for that. My youngest, I also made a wood burned laser engraved project for him, and he needs a frame for that one as well. So I got 2 frames that I've got to make. And then the next big project that I want to make, and I'm struggling with this because I need to rebuild my workbench. And I'm not ready to rebuild my workbench, but I also want to build I also want to make a bench, a sitting bench. So I found in Wood Magazine a few months back, I found plans for a like a 2-seat, 2-person bench. They made it out of walnut. I'm going to make it out of cherry. I was actually thinking about making it out of construction lumber to show that you can do this thing for super cheap, because I can get the wood to make this thing for $25 if I go construction lumber. If I go hardwoods, then it's going to be more. It's probably going to be around $100, maybe $125. But it only takes one piece of 8/4 and 2 pieces of 4/4 by 8 foot long. It doesn't have a lot of pieces to it. I forgot to bring the magazine down here. I would have showed you a picture of it, but it's real nice. And then of course you got to build the seats for it too. So I'm going to need some cushioning, going to need some fabric to, for upholstery. Yeah. So that's on the agenda. And then obviously whatever customer requests come up. But those are the three projects that are on my radar specifically. The bench is obviously going to be designed for YouTube content. I want to build that on camera so that I can put it out as a YouTube video. Hope you guys got a chance to see the YouTube video that I made for the memorial picture frame display for the dog. That video performed pretty well. All things considered, performed pretty well. Like right now, it's slowed down a lot. Slowed down quite a bit, as a matter of fact. 437 views. So, really, really. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, 317 more views than normal. 46 hours of watch time, which is way good, is way better. And I gained subscribers off of it. Deether needs to make a shadow box for your granddaughter for a snow globe. Cool. Cool. Shadow boxes are fun. Shadow boxes are super fun. I need to make, this is not anything big, but we've got the wire shelving in a lot of our closets. And Mrs. RB, there's one closet in our hall bathroom linen closet. There's one storage rack that everything that we kind of want to put on that rack can fall through the wire grating. So she wants me to make a shelf for it instead. I don't really constitute that as woodworking, but here we are. Cedar. Am I going to make it out of cedar? I don't think so. I can. I think I have enough cedar that I could do that. And cedar would probably be the best thing to make it out of because it is a bathroom. But also that bathroom doesn't get used, like it gets used to go to the bathroom, but it's not being used constantly for showers or anything. So you don't have a lot of steam hanging out in that bathroom. She said I could make it out of plywood. I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of plywood or not, but cedar would be cool. Cedar would be fantastic. I wonder if I got enough cedar. I'll have to look. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. What else? I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like there's something else that I was gonna. I feel like there's something else that I was thinking about making. What's my Google Keep list look like? Here, hang on, let me pull my Google Keep list up. I keep everything in a Google Keep list. No, not slides. Where's Google? Where's Keep? There it is. I do need to tune the bandsaw, which I did work on that a little bit yesterday. I got the frames, got the new workbench. So a couple other things. Yeah, okay, there are a couple other things that I can talk about. I need a place to store my cordless drills. So a cordless drill station is in my future. And I think I'm going to make that out of pallet wood and hang it on the wall. Because I've got pieces of pallet wood that'll be perfect. I also need to make a plane and chisel rack, a plane and chisel till. So there's that. And I'd like to make a shop stool. I don't have any place to sit when I'm in the shop. And I don't want to sit all the time, but if I'm fiddling with something at the workbench, it's nice to be able to just kind of sit there and fiddle with it rather than stand there on the concrete and fiddle with it. And I'm actually thinking about getting some of those mats to put down too, so that the concrete's not as hard on your feet and your back. But shop stool. So maybe a shop stool's in the works too. Perhaps. Yeah, cedar would be good. So what's in store for the gaming channel in 2026? Let's talk about that a little bit. Status quo, I think. Status quo. I would love to be able to devote more time to the gaming channel, to rbPlays. I would love to be able to do that. We're at 3,300 and some odd subscribers, and I would love to see that number grow. And it fluctuates. It goes up a little bit. It goes down a little bit. I've kind of locked myself into this long form content though, right? I was making 30-minute episodes. I was making them every other day. Like I was releasing 3 to 5 videos every single week on the rbPlays channel, and I can't do that. I can't keep up that pace. I can't keep up that pace. Wow, that seems to be. What in the world? Hold on a second. I gotta see something here. Okay. Latency is no problem. Okay, so when you have your YouTube stream up in YouTube Studio, if you don't have that window active, it doesn't progress the same as it does on the other. It's weird. It was a visual thing. Sorry, I got squirreled. So yeah, I still enjoy making gaming content, but I love my time on the other side of that wall too. You know, COVID, the pandemic, staying at home did something to me. And I think it did something to a lot of folks, right? It made me reevaluate my priorities. And the gaming channel is still something that I love. I still love playing Minecraft. I still love hanging out with you guys and learning new things, but I like doing it in live streams. Is there a way for me to do more live streams? Maybe. But it's not going to be several hours of live streams more often. You know, I do 2 hours and then we fluctuate from there. You know, sometimes we'll go 2.5. I think a couple of weeks ago we actually went 3 hours. But if I did it during the week, like if I had 1 or 2 nights a week where I could sit down and do a live stream, it'd probably only be for about an hour. And you know me, like it takes me an hour just to get into games sometimes. So 2026 rbPlays gaming channel status quo. We're going to keep streaming on Saturdays. I may have to take a Saturday here or there where we don't stream anything at all for whatever reason. Maybe it's a birthday, maybe it's a prior commitment, etc. But for the most part, every Saturday, 2026, be here. Be there or be square. If anything changes, I'll let you know. If I want to try and do more, make sure you're subscribed. Turn your notification bells on so that if I drop any new content out there, you see it. The one thing also that's been helping the gaming channel is Clipmaster Diamond Anvil keeps getting clips for us. And we release those during the week as little extra content. What in the world am I trying to get to here? Switch account. rbPlays. Keep an eye on the Discord as well. Yeah. So we take those clips that Diamond Anvil and others create, and we turn them into shorts on YouTube. And my shorts content, I put out 5 shorts videos this week. Content, there it is. Content type, shorts. Apply. Let's see, 2,700, 1,400, so that's 4,100, 4,600, 56, 5,700, 6,400, 7,400, about somewhere around 7,500 views on shorts content this week between the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, between the 5 shorts that we put out. So that's pretty good. Yeah, 7,500 views. I'll take it. It's not millions. It's not millions. Mrs. Dorothy Curb, good morning and Happy New Year to you as well. Cheers. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you and Darth are doing well. See, here at rbPlays Studios, here at RB Craft, we're a family. We're a family thing. It's all about family. And honestly, that's why I don't put out more content, is because it's about family. Mrs. RB needs me a lot. Although Mrs. RB is doing great things right now, which we won't get into because she doesn't like me talking about her. But she's doing great things. And I am super proud of her. Like, very, very proud of her. Something in my eye. Might be my finger. Oh. Y'all, I just woke up like right before the stream. I need to get back into the swing of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I got to do that on Monday. My alarm went off at 7:30 this morning. I never get up early on Saturdays or Sundays. Sundays, I don't set an alarm at all. I just wake up when I wake up. But while I've been on vacation these last 5 weeks, I have also not set an alarm. And so there have been many times where I'll stay up until midnight, 1 o'clock. Hell, one night I think I even stayed up till like 2:30. And then just sleep until I wake up because I don't have any responsibilities that require me to be up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning while I was on vacation. But that's going to change on Monday. So tonight I am going to bed on time, which is for me should be no later than 10. For me should be no later than 10. Notice the song playing. What song? Oh, okay. So I am playing music. I am playing music in my headphones. It's not coming through on stream, is it? But because I'm playing Pretzel Rocks, and Pretzel is, what is the title? Dawn by Evans. Oh, Dawn. Yeah. Are we trying to say that there may be some prophecy attached to this one? Or some maybe prophecy isn't the right word. The right word is escaping me. Yeah. I get it now. I was a little slow on the uptake. I get it. I am so glad that I fixed YouTube. I'm so glad that I fixed YouTube. That makes me so happy. What else? What else do we want to talk about? It's only, man, we haven't even been live an hour yet. Eesh. Got to get me out of bed at least 2 hours before the stream. No. No. It's not happening. Nah, it probably you're not entirely wrong there, Diamond. So we start the stream at, if we start the stream at 9, if we're starting the stream at 9, I need to be down here by 8:30 at the latest. I was down here by, I don't know, 20 after 8 today. But I had just got up 10 minutes before that. And fortunately today I didn't have any major hiccups that I had to address. I still had OBS and everything all still running from last week. So really all I had to do was change titles and just make sure that Windows hadn't screwed up my sound at all, because that happens. Can't fix YouTube, it's beyond repair. It's a fair statement. It's a fair statement. Y'all, I feel like I'm wasting away to nothing. I don't seem to be losing a lot of weight, but I feel like I'm thinning. I feel like I'm thinning. The only place it isn't thinning is right here. Like, this gut is not thinning at all. It might be, but it doesn't feel like it. But I was looking at myself in the mirror last night. Stood in front of the New subscriber, Kathy Bailey over on YouTube. Thank you so much. I don't know if you're watching the stream right now, but thank you, Kathy. No, there's like no delay. There's like no delay between YouTube and Twitch right now. That's fantastic. I am over the moon, ecstatic about that. I gotta ask you guys a question. Oh, it's Mrs. Dorothy Curb on YouTube. I gotcha. Well, fantastic. Thank you for the subscription. It is greatly appreciated. Cheers. I feel like I've asked, and this is probably not the right crowd to ask this. Don't need to see me in 4K anymore? I mean, yeah, like, don't need to see me in 4K anywhere. I mean, right? Although, did you see? You probably didn't see. I see all the comments on one of the shorts. So when I make the when we make the shorts, it's just a screen capture, right? But then to get it to fit on mobile, I can adjust the way the layout is, but then it kind of zooms everything in, and it takes my video feed, my face cam feed, and it pixelates it real bad. So on mobile, when you watch my shorts on mobile, like the game content looks fine, but my face that's part of it does not. And somebody said, you need a 4K camera. No, I really don't. It's fine. In this instance, it's okay. It's just because yes, the views are doing just fine. Like I said, somewhere around 7,500 over the week for the shorts that we've put out. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. But I got a question for you guys. And again, this is probably not the right audience for this. Although there is a lot of crossover between this audience and my woodworking audience. Wood. That's what I did there. Woodworking, wood. I'm contemplating going live from the wood shop. I'm contemplating going live from the wood shop. And, you know, like people like Texas Hulu, they do it. And it works for them. They do a lot of turning stuff. And I don't do any turning stuff. And I don't know. I have 2 GoPro cameras. I have 2 GoPro cameras that I could use as webcams. So I'd be able to get decent live feed footage. BC Nineveh says, yeah. The only problem is that, again, just like here, just like the rbPlays channel, the gaming content, where do I draw the line between this is footage that's dedicated to a long form video versus this is stuff that's stream tuning up my tools? There's an idea. I do need to do that, actually. I've got my hand planes that I need to do a tune up on, and I've got my chisels that I need to do a tune up on. And I just, right before I went on vacation, I 3D printed a stone holder and a roller jig for the bevel. So yeah, stream tuning up the tools. And also, there's a lot of potential that, well, I won't say a lot, but there is potential for little projects that client work. Like I said, I don't get a lot of client work, but building these frames, I'm not going to make a video out of building these frames. There's two sizes, 16 by 16 and 10 by 14. And I'm just using half lap joints. I've got them stripped. I've got the strips cut down half by 3/4 inch. And then I'm just using half lap joints to join them together and spring clamps to hold them together while they dry. So I'm not going to make a video on that. I mean, I could, but doing that project, live streaming that content, that could be cool. Yeah, that could be cool. I gotta get the watch time up on the channel. I need to get the woodworking channel's watch time up. I have the number of subscribers that I need to get that channel monetized, but I don't have the watch time, and I'm way off on watch time. You need a minimum of 3,000 hours. You need a minimum of 3,000 hours in the last 365 days. My watch time in the last 365 days is only 1,139 and a half hours. So I'm less than half. And that 3,000 hour mark, that's not full monetization. That's just allowing for super chats and stuff like that. If I want the full ad revenue monetization, then I got to get to 4,000 watch hours. So I'm barely over a quarter of watch time for full monetization of the woodworking channel. Honestly, I haven't been getting enough watch time on the rbPlays channel to re-qualify for watch time or for ad revenue, but because I was already a YouTube partner, they haven't taken it away. But anyway, I do have 3,000 hours of watch time. I do have 3,000 hours of watch time on the rbPlays channel, but I don't have 4,000. It's like 30. Oh, hang on. I'm going to look because I'm curious now. Oh, wait. Oh, crap. That is the rbPlays channel. The rbPlays channel is only has, in the last 365 days, it only has 1,139 watch time hours. So what's the woodworking channel then? Switch count. $118 in the last 28 days. 365 days. 859.4. So way below the threshold for monetization on the woodworking channel. Way below the threshold on the gaming channel too, but I digress. If they take the monetization away from me, is it going to be that big of a deal for me? It's not money that I rely on. It's just nice, you know? It's just nice. Anyway, Diamond Anvil just posted a short, or posted a thing. Let me see. Are you holding your stones correctly? I approve. We'll make a short out of that. All right, let's see here. What else? Is there anything else we need to talk about? I feel like we've covered all the topics, you know? Oh, I do have something that I gotta fix. We have a GameCube and the CMOS battery. Oh, ads? What? There ain't no ads on this channel.
Ads inbound.
There ain't no ads on this channel.
Ads inbound.
So we have a GameCube. It's actually Beholden Sports GameCube. But the CMOS battery in it has taken a dump. Now, have any of you ever had to change the battery in a GameCube? I'll wait. Enjoy a beverage while I do. Have any of you ever had to change the battery, the CMOS battery, in a GameCube? If you have, oh, there is a video on it. There's a couple of videos on it. Computer, yes, not in a GameCube. Yeah, same here. I was thinking, oh, it needs a new battery. Okay, that's fine. How do you open up the GameCube? So we found me and the youngest. We'll call him Jimbles, because that's his name that he goes by on Discord. We'll call him Jimbles. So Jimbles pulls up a document on how to get a GameCube open, and sure enough, boop, 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 take the screws out, cover comes off, blah, blah, blah. Right behind the controller plugs is the CMOS battery. It is right there. And so we were like, yay, CMOS battery. It doesn't come out. It's just a spring clip. Holds it in place. Doesn't come out. After further review, if you want to change the CMOS battery on a GameCube, you have to replace the entire holder. You can't just replace the battery. Because Nintendo, when they built the GameCube, did something so that you can never remove that battery. Now, riddle me this, Batman. Why? Why would you do that? That makes zero sense. Like none. So now I'm in the process of, I've got a soldering iron. It's not a very good one, and I'm also not a very good solderer. But I've got a soldering iron. I don't have, money. I don't have any solder, so I've got to buy a roll of silver solder. Mr. Useless, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's not expensive. It's not expensive. So I need to get a roll of solder, and I need to get a new holder for the CMOS battery. I also need a solder sucker. I have one at work, so I'll just bring that one home and we'll use that. So I need a solder sucker. Posture check. Thank you, Mystery. I won't call you useless. Posture check. Check. Good. Posture is gut. Das ist sehr gut, ja. So solder sucker, battery holder. It's a 2032 CR2032 battery. Solder wick. I mean, I like I said, I have a solder sucker at work, so I can just borrow that. That's not a problem. and then you gotta take it out. So we're gonna have to take the old battery holder out, solder in a new battery holder to replace a battery. We're talking about Mastery. We're talking about replacing the CMOS battery in a Nintendo GameCube. It keeps the GameCube keeps losing system time. So the other day we set the clock, turned it off for an hour, and after an hour turned it back on, and it already lost 30 minutes of time. So the CMOS battery is toast. See, content for the youngest YouTube channel. I've tried to encourage him to do that because he loves to tinker. He loves to tinker, and honestly, if he were to, I mean, obviously it's gonna take time to develop an audience, but I ain't mad at him if he wants to try and do some kind of tech channel. I want to replace, we need to replace the battery, but to replace the battery, when Nintendo built the GameCube, they soldered the battery into the holder. So if you're going to replace the battery, you have to replace the whole holder. Apparently this is something that a lot of people knew about, and we didn't. We were able to get the GameCube apart, and then we were like, why won't this battery come out? So we did more research, and apparently it's a big thing. And my point in bringing this up is right to repair. My point to bringing this up is right to repair. And when did the GameCube come out? It was early 2000s or something, wasn't it? No, it's probably earlier than that. When did GameCube come out? 2001. Need another beholder in the van. I do see what you did there. So it came out in 2001. Yeah, that tracks. Came out in North America November 18th, 2001. So even as far back as 2001, and probably older than that even, 20 years on a battery is pretty good. Not going to dispute that. I'm with you. The fact that manufacturers have been and continue to be anti-consumer is infuriating to me. I kind of lost it. Like, when we found out exactly what the process was to change a stupid battery on a GameCube, I went a little bit nutso in my living room. We've got a small table that's set up in the we'll call it the breakfast nook. We don't use it for a breakfast nook, but we got a small table there that people use for odds and ends. Like if I'm doing work with any of our Plex movie library stuff, I've got a dedicated laptop that I use for that because it's Linux. I got a dedicated laptop that I use for that. So I go to that little workstation and I do what I got to do, and then I just put my stuff away, and that table is open for somebody else who needs to use it. Mrs. RB will use it for folding laundry sometimes because it's right there next to the living room, so she can sit there and fold some laundry. And they don't want the battery falling out when they toss it across the room. I understand that. But if you're going to do that, I guarantee you that there were other ways to do that and make it consumer friendly. They didn't have to weld the stinking battery in. They didn't have to do that. the holder that is $4 on eBay is a cup with a spring on it. So the battery sits down in the cup. It's not going to fall out. And if you've tossed it across the room hard enough that the battery comes out of that little cup battery holder, you've also broken or shattered your GameCube. So the battery is the least of your problems. You know what I mean? You're probably going to have a more significant repair than putting the battery back into your GameCube if you've tossed it across the room. "20 years of electronic life is really..." You're not wrong. That is... How long do they have to design for? Well, that's a valid question. And I don't have the answer to that. More to the point are some of the things that you're seeing now when it comes to right to repair. Apple products. Apple got sued here recently, if I remember right, for people not being able to change out their own hard drives, or something along those lines. I haven't been following it that close. The one that I do follow, and it's because of where I live and it's because of people that I know, is John Deere. If you own a John Deere tractor, you can't change your own oil. You have to take it to a service center or have a mobile tech come out and do it for you. What other computer do I have that's still running after 20 years? I don't have one. We have, so gaming console wise, we have a PS4, we have the GameCube, we have an Xbox 360? Xbox 360? Yeah. We have an Xbox. And then something else. I know there's a base for a Switch upstairs. But anyway. We have a Wii. So we've got some older tech in the house, and it all works, and that's great. But design it in such a way that the easy stuff. A battery is going to die. A battery is going to run out eventually. So I should be able to replace that battery. And I can replace it, but I got to use a little bit of skill and technique to do it. And that's it shouldn't be like that. Now, I also can't solder I couldn't solder to save my life. We're going to teach Jimbles how to solder, because that sounds like something that he might be into anyway. I mean, who knows? Maybe he could even open up his own little repair shop. At least I don't have to call out a Nintendo tech to replace the battery. I mean, you're not wrong. But I think that right to repair, I think people need to be paying more attention to right to repair than they have been, because left to their own devices, left to their own moral compasses, manufacturers are going to become more and more aggressive towards consumers. I feel. I could be wrong, but that's the direction that it's been heading for decades now. There's a few things that, as I've gotten older, I know, right? I remember that. You could, if you were halfway tech savvy, or handy with tools, there wasn't anything in your house that you couldn't fix. Like, just as your average, ordinary high school graduate type guy working a working a labor type job, and even like I don't want to instill classism on this or anything, but most people, if you looked at something, you could probably figure it out. And back in the days when you had like tube televisions, it was pretty easy to say, "Oh, there's a bad tube in there," and you go down to the hardware store, you get yourself a new tube, you put the new tube in, your TV works again. You can't do that now. Planned obsolescence. Planned obsolescence. This laptop that I got right here, you can't see it, but I can do this. This laptop that I got right here, it'll be obsolete. What's a tube? This laptop that I got right here, it'll be it's not obsolete yet, but it will be fairly soon. Fairly soon. Boy, oh boy, Diamond Anvil. What's a tube indeed? It's not the YouTube. So, kids, all you kids out there, back in the day, back before flat screen TVs, hell, back before big screen TVs, we used to have these things called console TVs. And even some of your more portable TVs had tubes in them also. But a tube was basically it kind of looked like a light bulb, a weird shaped light bulb. Some of them were long and cylindrical, but inside of it was transistor technology. And you would turn the TV on and nothing would happen, but there would be this glow. And be this glow that would start to come from the back of the television. It was the tubes warming up. It was putting energy into those tubes so that the transistors would start to fire, and then you would get a picture on your screen. Cathode ray tubes, CRTs. Way back in the day, that was something. I remember watching my dad fix our TV a couple of times. Do I remember why it was called a clicker? Yes, because it actually clicked. It was a switch that would send a pulse, but only when it clicked. It was weird. It was like, we're talking old rudimentary technology. And it was the audible click that the TV was listening for. When it heard that click, it would change the channel. It was weird. It's amazing how far we've come, y'all. Now we've got remote controls. This is for my audio system over there, but this is an old Sherwood system. You remember when you were the remote, don't we all? I certainly do. I remember when I was the remote. Hey kid, go turn the channel. We had 5 channels. 5 channels? 16, 22, 28, 56, 48, and on a good day, I could get 7. On a good day, I could get Channel 9 and Channel 32 out of Chicago. But we had 5. I was living good back then, yeah. We had 5 stations. We had the 3 major networks, ABC, NBC, and CBS. That was 16, 22, and 56. And then we had a Fox affiliate. That was 28. And then 46 was the local Christian station. But we also had PBS. What was PBS? It was in the 30s also. 34. 34. So I had 6 stations regularly. Yeah, Fox came later. So like when I was a kid, 28 didn't exist. So that was probably mid to late 80s, probably. But yeah, 16, 22, 34, 46, and 50, and 56. That was it. Good old Lester Summerall started Channel 46. Lester Summerall, if you've ever heard that name before, Lester Summerall Ministries started in my hometown. MTV started in 1981 and it died in 1990 something when they stopped playing music videos. Yeah, MTV was big. I was there the day MTV launched. My neighbors had cable, and my friend was like, "You got to come over, dude. There's gonna be a new channel. There's a new channel." Okay, so I went over and we watched music videos all day. We did not have cable. Well, we had cable off and on. I kind of want my MTV back, right? Like, I kind of want just good old music television. Although we have that in YouTube now. You can watch all of the music videos on YouTube. Literally all of them. What else? What other nostalgia do we've got out there today? What other nostalgia do we have out there today? I used to watch as cable TV got more popular. We watched a lot of Nickelodeon. Atari 2600. My friend had one of those. My first gaming system that I had was a Nintendo, a Super Nintendo. That was my first gaming system. My friend had an Atari that lived across the street. My brother, when he got older, he bought the Sega Genesis. Yeah, he got the Sega Genesis. So I had, and by that time I had upgraded to a Nintendo 64. So I had the Nintendo 64. He had the Sega Genesis. And there was a game. I can't remember. I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. I think we've talked about it on the stream before. But there was a golf game for the Nintendo 64 that was, I felt like it was phenomenal. You could compete as like a Nintendo character, and I was really good at it. I can't remember what the name of it was. I can't find it anywhere. Every time I think I find it, there's something about it. Nope, that's not it. Anyway, nostalgia. Watched a lot of Nickelodeon. Never been I wasn't a fan of Sega either. My brother got it, and I was like, okay, this is cool, but I think my Nintendo's better. And then later on, then you had the PlayStation and the Xbox later on, and those are better. Nintendo, like if I was gonna pick a game system. If I was going to pick a game system for its overall quality of games and the graphics, and it would either be it would probably be an Xbox or a PlayStation. Yeah. It would probably be an Xbox or a PlayStation. But yeah, we watched a lot of Nintendo. Anybody remember the show You Can't Do That on Television? That was my favorite show. Birth of the pop star sensation Avril Lavigne. Nope. Not Avril Lavigne. Alanis Morissette. But that was a great show. Watch that all the time. We used to live for people saying, I don't know, because then they'd get a bucket of green slime dumped on their head. It was fantastic. The things that we did for entertainment back in the late 80s and early 90s. Zoom and Electric Company kit. Yes. Yes. Romper Room. Of course, Sesame Street back in the day was fantastic. But I remember Zoom. I remember the Electric Company. Didn't have a stick and a tire. Captain Kangaroo. Yes, Captain Kangaroo was fantastic. Loved Captain Kangaroo. My favorite character on Captain Kangaroo was the bunny, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. My grandfather, I remember this vividly. I was probably 6 or 7 years old. My grandfather, we were sitting in the kitchen at my grandparents' house, and they had made me dinner that night because I was staying there. It was probably, yeah, they were babysitting me. My parents were either out or something. My parents were out or something. Anyway, they were babysitting me, and I had dinner at my grandparents' house, and they made carrots that night. At the time, I didn't like carrots. My grandfather said, you got to eat your carrots. No, I don't. I don't want them. I don't like them. He said, what about, what about your eyesight? Carrots are good for your eyesight. I said, well, how do you know that? He said, well, rabbits. Have you ever seen a bunny rabbit that wears glasses? And I said, yes. Yes, I have. He's aware. Captain Kangaroo, the bunny rabbit, wore glasses. He ate carrots all the time. Wore glasses. So he became my hero because I could prove to my grandfather that eating carrots did not affect your eyesight. What can I say? 6, 7-year-old logic. Mr. Rogers, yeah. Mr. Rogers was fantastic. Mr. Rogers was fantastic. What else? What other shows back then did we watch a lot of? I mean, those are probably the big ones. Electric Company, Zoom, Captain Kangaroo. I mentioned being able to get the Land of Make Believe. Yeah, the Land of Make Believe. All the puppets and stuff in the Land of Make Believe. That was fantastic. I mentioned Channel 9 out of Chicago. That was the only way that I could watch Bozo the Clown. And so it was like on a day where the skies were crystal clear and the signals were traveling really well, I could turn on Channel 9 and I could watch Bozo the Clown. There's a reason why my generation is so good at beer pong, and it's because of Bozo the Clown. Never really got into Lassie. Lassie was a little Lassie was in syndication when I was a kid. I mean, I watched a couple episodes of Lassie whenever somebody had it on. It was good, but I never got into it. For me, the dog to beat was Scooby-Doo. So animations. Other good animation, yeah, that was like Scooby-Doo was the shiz. What's my short-term goals for all the mods 10? Short-term goals for all the mods 10. I want to get some automation set up. So next week when we get back into all the mods 10, we're gonna do some power generation probably. We're gonna do item extraction. So we got that cobblestone generator set up and the obsidian generator set up. We're going to start extracting those items and sending them to some kind of crushing system. I don't know what that crushing system is going to look like yet, but I want to start getting bountiful amounts of ores. Those ore chunks. I want to start getting bountiful amounts of that stuff, so that we can do whatever we want to do. That's my short term. And the status of the supporter server, it is up and running. I was actually on there, Deether, was it yesterday? Deether's been on there a bunch. I was on there, I think it was yesterday. And it's going nicely. There's only a handful of folks playing on it. But it's fun. Istressy may have an entire bedroom full of chickens. Maybe. Hee Haw was a good show. Again, I didn't watch that one a lot. That one was more my parents that watched that. And I would watch it if I wasn't doing other things. You've been feeding them for him? Oh, no. We might want to stop feeding them. Maybe. We might want to stop feeding them. Strissy hasn't been on. He was trying to build a creeper farm and that wasn't going so hot for him. So he's took a lot of time off of a lot of things the last couple of weeks because of holidays and such. But yeah, he may have a bedroom full of chickens. I got an egg farm and I had more eggs than I knew what to do with. So you made one that works great. Good. I'm going to build a sheep farm next. A wool farm. All right, Diamond. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Take care. We only have a few minutes left anyway. I'm probably gonna call it a little bit earlier than normal because it's a just chatting stream. So, and we've caught up on almost everything, I think, or actually have caught up on everything. Working on a shulker farm. I approve of that endeavor. But I'm going to build a wool farm probably. And I'm probably going to build it at spawn. Maybe. Maybe. I can't decide if I want to have a multi-level thing, or if I just want to have a nice straight line thing, or if I want to have it be like a corridor kind of thing where you walk down in between the sheeps. There's 16 colors. 16 colors. I can fit it all in a chunk, or I can fit it all in a chunk. I just don't know. I haven't Tango's sheep farm. Probably not. It's probably just going to be something basic. Something easy to maintain because of shears, you know. We got the iron farm, so that's good. We'll have plenty of iron. But But yeah, probably just something basic. Probably just a grass block, observer, dispenser, or yeah, observer, dispenser, shears, hopper minecart to pick up the wool when it drops, adjacent grass blocks to make sure that the grass respawns. 2 double chests of iron blocks at the moment. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So yeah, that's the status of all the things. But I think I am going to go ahead and call it. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it because I got stuff I got to do today. I got to finish these frames. I need to get those finished this weekend because I go back to work on Monday, and I want to make sure that we can get them to the client without any issues. So I want to try and get those finished today. Problem that I've got is I need some more spring clamps, you know, because as a woodworker, you can never have too many clamps. Ain't that right? Ain't that right, Dylan? As a woodworker, you can never have too many clamps. You never have enough clamps. And I need some more spring clamps. And my local Harbor Freight, which is where I get my spring clamps from, they're out of stock. They don't have any. I was going to get another 10 sets. Or get another 10 spring clamps. And they don't have them, which is unfortunate. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and call it here today. Thank you all so much. I do appreciate it very, very much. Thank you for all of the new subscriptions. Thank you for the updates on your support for the channels. It means a lot to me. It really, really does. I hope you all have great weeks. I hope you have happy and blessed New Year's. And we'll see you back here next Saturday. We'll come back. We'll do this all again. You are all invited. But until then, do something nice for somebody and get off my lawn. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.